If you just arrived in the United States, or you are planning to move here soon, there is one thing I need you to hear right now, before you do anything else. Before you look for an apartment, before you buy a SIM card, before you even unpack your bags. You are starting your financial life from zero. I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean it literally. No matter how responsible you were with money back home, no matter if you had a perfect savings account, a great credit record, or years of good financial behavior, none of that counts here. The United States does not recognize your financial history from another country. You are invisible to the American financial system, and that invisibility is going to cost you in rejected apartments, high loan interest rates, and denied credit cards, unless you start doing the right things from day one. This video is your financial survival guide. I am going to walk you through everything, step by step, in simple language. No complicated terms, no confusing numbers, just real, practical information that you can actually use starting today. So let's get into it. The first thing you need to understand is how money works in America. Back home, you probably kept cash, maybe had a savings account, and that was enough. In the USA, that is not enough. Here, your entire financial life runs through two things: your bank account and your credit score. If you don't have both set up correctly, you will struggle. You will pay more for everything, and many doors will be closed to you that should be open. So let's talk about them one by one. Let's start with your bank account, because this is the first thing you need to get, ideally on your first week in America. A bank account in the USA is how you receive your salary, pay your rent, buy groceries, pay bills online, and send money back home. Almost nothing works without it. Your employer needs it to pay you. Your landlord needs it to take your rent. Even your phone company needs it. So getting this done first is not optional, it is urgent. Now here is the first big mistake most immigrants make, and it causes them to walk into a bank, get rejected, and walk out feeling completely defeated. They think they need a social security number to open a bank account. They think they need citizenship documents. They think the bank is going to ask them about their immigration status. And when they don't have these things, they just give up. But here's the truth, and I want you to remember this. Under current United States law, banks are not required to ask about your immigration or citizenship status to open a basic account. They verify who you are, your identity, not where you are from or what your visa says. The bank is not immigration. They cannot report you to immigration just for opening an account. Banks protect your financial information, and they cannot share it with government agencies without a proper legal process. So please, stop being afraid of the bank. Walk in with confidence. Now, what documents do you actually need? Let me tell you exactly. The most important document you need is your foreign passport. This is your primary identification. Every major bank, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Capital One, they all accept a valid foreign passport as your main ID. Make sure it is not expired. This is the most important thing you will carry into that bank. The second thing you need is a secondary ID. This could be your student ID if you are a student, your visa documents, your employment authorization card, or a consular ID from your country's embassy in America. You don't need all of these, just one of them alongside your passport. The third thing you need is a US address. I know what you are thinking. What if I just arrived and I don't have an apartment yet? Don't worry. A university dorm address works perfectly. Your friend's address works. Even a temporary housing address works. You just need something with your name on it in the United States. And the fourth thing, this one is very important, you may need something called an ITIN. This stands for Individual Taxpayer Identification Number. Think of it as a tax ID that anyone can get, regardless of immigration status, from the IRS, which is the US tax authority. You apply for it using a form called W-7. Processing takes around 7 to 11 weeks, so apply for it as early as possible. The ITIN is what replaces the Social Security number at most banks. It opens the door to bank accounts, credit cards, and eventually, building your credit score. Now let me give you a very practical recommendation. If you are an international student with an F1 visa, go directly to a Chase branch. Not the website, not the app, the physical branch. And bring your passport and your student ID. Chase has a very clear process for international students. They will open a college checking account for you that day, and the monthly fee is completely waived for up to 5 years while you are in school. That is free banking for your entire time as a student. That is a big deal. If you are not a student, or if you prefer to bank online, then go with Capital One 360 Checking. This account has 0 monthly fees, no minimum balance requirement, and access to over 70,000 free ATMs across America. It is genuinely one of the best accounts for newcomers because there are no hidden conditions. You just open it and use it. Simple. Speaking of hidden conditions, Let me talk about something that shocks almost every immigrant when it happens to them for the first time. It is called an overdraft fee. Here is how it works. Imagine you have $20 left in your account. You forget about an automatic payment, maybe a subscription, maybe a bill, and that payment comes out for $30. Your account goes below zero. The bank covers that payment for you, and then they charge you a fee for doing it. That fee can be anywhere from $10 all the way up to $35. And here is the scary part. It can happen multiple times on the same day if multiple payments hit your account at the same time. In 2024, Americans paid $12 billion in overdraft and NSF fees. $12 billion. Much of that came from people who simply didn't know this was happening. So how do you protect yourself? Very simple. First, always keep a small buffer in your account, at least $50 more than you think you need. Second, turn on account alerts on your banking app so your phone notifies you whenever your balance gets low. Third, if you bank with Capital One or Bank of America, they have removed overdraft fees or dramatically reduced them. One more reason they are great for newcomers. And fourth, never set up automatic payments unless you are 100% sure the money will be in your account on that date. Now let's move on to the second big topic, and honestly, this is the one that is going to change your life more than anything else in this video, your credit score. Let me explain what a credit score is in the simplest possible way. Imagine you are asking a bank to lend you money. The bank doesn't know you. They have no idea if you will pay them back or not, so they check a number, a score between 300 and 850, that tells them how trustworthy you are with money. The higher that number, the more they trust you. The lower that number, the more they worry about you. Here is what that number controls in your life. When you apply to rent an apartment, the landlord checks it. When you apply for a car loan, the interest rate you get depends on it. When you apply for a credit card, whether you are approved or rejected depends on it. Even some employers check your credit score before offering you a job. And some insurance companies use it to decide how much you pay for your car insurance. Your credit score in America is one of the most powerful numbers in your entire financial life. And as a new immigrant, you have no score at all. You are not starting from a low score. You are starting from nothing, which means you are invisible. Lenders cannot see you, so they assume the worst. That is why landlords ask new immigrants for 2 or 3 months of extra deposit. That is why car dealers give newcomers interest rates of 15, 20, even 25%. Your invisible credit history is costing you real money every single day. So how is this score calculated? There are 5 factors. The biggest one, 35% of your score, is your payment history. This simply means, do you pay your bills on time? Every time you pay on time, your score goes up a little. Every time you miss a payment, it can drop by 60 to 100 points immediately. This is the single most important thing you need to protect. The second factor, 30% of your score, is called credit utilization. This means how much of your available credit are you using. For example, if you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit and you spend $900 on it, your utilization is 90%. That is too high. It hurts your score. You want to stay below 30%, ideally below 10%. So if your limit is $1,000, try to only use $100 to $200 per month, even if you pay it all back. The third factor is the length of your credit history, how long you have had credit accounts. The longer, the better. This is why I always tell people, open your first credit account as soon as possible, even if you don't need to use it much. The clock starts ticking from the moment you open it. The fourth and fifth factors are your credit mix. Having different types of accounts like a credit card and a loan, and new credit inquiries, how often you apply for new credit. For beginners, don't worry too much about these 2. Focus on the first 3. Now, how do you actually start building your credit score when you have nothing? The answer is a secured credit card. A secured credit card works like this. You give the bank a deposit, usually between $200 and $500. That deposit becomes your credit limit. You then use the card for small, everyday purchases, groceries, gas, a coffee, a small bill. And every month you pay the full balance before the due date. The bank reports your on-time payments to the credit bureaus, and slowly your credit score begins to build. The best secured cards for immigrants in 2026 are the Discover It Secured Card, the Capital One Platinum Secured Card, and the Chase Freedom Rise Card. Before you apply for any card, always ask one question. Does this card report to all 3 credit bureaus? Those bureaus are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. If the answer is yes, you are good. If the answer is no, or if they are not sure, walk away. Some companies prey on immigrants by offering credit cards that look legitimate but never report to the bureaus. You use the card, pay fees, but your score never builds. That is a trap you must avoid. After 3 to 6 months of on-time payments on your secured card, your first credit score will appear. Check it for free on Credit Karma, the Experian app, or directly through your bank's mobile app. Most immigrants who follow this process correctly reach a score of 650 to 700 within their first year. At that point, you can apply for a regular unsecured credit card with real rewards, cashback, travel points, and get your deposit back from the secured card. There is also something new you need to know for 2026. Buy now, pay later services, things like Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm. Those are now being included in certain credit score calculations. This is actually a good opportunity for newcomers because if you use them responsibly, they can help you build your score faster. But if you miss a payment on one of these services, it will now hurt your credit score, just like missing a credit card payment. So be careful. Let me now quickly walk you through the exact checklist I want you to follow. This is your first week financial plan. On your first or second day, go to a Chase branch with your passport and student ID, or go online to Capital One 360 and open your checking account. Get this done first before anything else. In your first 2 weeks, submit your application for an ITIN using IRS Form W-7. You can find this form on the official IRS website at irs.gov. Don't delay this. It takes weeks to process and you will need it. In your first month or two, apply for a secured credit card. Use it for 1 or 2 small purchases per month. Set up autopay for the full balance so you never miss a payment. By month 3 to 6, your first credit score will appear. Celebrate that moment. It means you are no longer invisible. You are in the system, building your financial future. By month 9 to 12, your score should be strong enough to apply for a regular credit card. At that point, your financial foundation in America is solid. Before I finish, let me tell you a few things that nobody usually tells new immigrants, but that I want you to know. Never apply for multiple credit cards at the same time. Every application creates what is called a hard inquiry on your credit report, and too many of these in a short period will actually lower your score. Apply for one card, wait at least 3 to 6 months, and only then apply for another if you need to. Your bank account itself does not build your credit score. I hear this mistake a lot. People think having money in their savings account will help their credit. It doesn't. Credit score is only built through credit products, cards, loans. Your bank account is the foundation, but the credit card is what builds the score. And finally, if a bank rejects you, don't give up and don't panic. Different branches of the same bank can have different staff with different levels of flexibility. If one branch says no, ask to speak with the branch manager. If that doesn't work, try a different bank or try a local credit union. Credit unions are community-based financial institutions that are often much more welcoming to immigrants and newcomers. They frequently accept consular IDs and other alternative documents that big banks might not. You came to America with courage, with dreams, and with a plan. The financial system here is not designed to make things easy for you at the beginning, but it is also not impossible. Millions of immigrants before you have built incredible financial lives in this country, starting from exactly where you are right now, with nothing but a passport, a dream, and the willingness to learn. You now have the information. The next step is yours. If this video helped you, please share it with someone you know who just arrived in the USA or is planning to move here. They need this information too. Subscribe for more beginner finance videos made specifically for immigrants and newcomers. And drop a comment below telling me which country you came from. I would love to know where this community is watching from. I will see you in the next one. Take care of your money, because nobody else is going to do it for you.